From the beautiful campus of Casper College, it's the T-Birds Coaches Show, bringing you game breakdowns, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews. Here's your host, Tom Myler.
Hello, T-Bird fans, and welcome to, well, kind of a sad episode, but also should be a really good episode of the Casper College Coaches Show. Joining me for the final time, Coach Dwight Canary. Welcome back, Coach.
I appreciate you having me, and yep, it's a time of celebration. There is some sadness on my end, but in reality, it is a time to celebrate.
Absolutely, time to celebrate. I thought you had a great tournament run. Yeah, it ended a little bit shorter than we were hoping, but I could not have been upset with that performance from your ladies.
No, tremendous. Just from the start of the season where we began, we were 3-4 after our first 7 games, and then to finish at 28-7, that's quite a turnaround. So very pleased. Winning the Region 9 tournament was certainly a highlight, and hanging another banner in T-Bird Gym that's going to be up there for hopefully as long as T-Bird Gym is there was quite accomplishment. And then to be able to play on the national stage, play at a very high level on the national stage in front of our own fans, there couldn't have been a better ending to our season.
And since you brought it up, we're just going to jump right into that. How'd you feel having that many fans? I feel like both games, it was a very good crowd.
Tremendous crowd, and it speaks volumes of Lady T-Bird fans and Casper College fans. Speaks volumes of the community of Casper, because this wasn't at 5:15 or 6:15 or 7:15 in the evening. This was at 10 or at 12:15 in the middle of a work week. So to have that kind of support was definitely meaning, and it was electric. It was fun. They provided a lot of energy, and I know how much our team appreciated that. To be able to play in front of that environment and a high-intensity level games, what an experience.
Yeah, did they ever mention anything to you, just saying, man, it's so much fun to hear them shouting, like especially when someone drains a three? I mean, the crowd just goes crazy.
Multiple times. They alluded to the fact that, it was so cool to have the fans behind us and their energy. And so, and me too, I felt it, and you're pretty focused in on what's happening on the court and not what's happening behind you, but I could feel it. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's something about that Ford Wyoming Center that just, your team's like, all right, they're already a good team. And then when they get to the Ford Wyoming Center, they play even better, and I love it.
I think that's 2 years in a row we probably played our best basketball in our final week, and that's what you always hope for. There's a lot of things that affect that, and it's kind of coach speak. Well, we want to peak at the right time. Well, you really don't have a ton of control over that, but it seemed like the last 2 years we did peak at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great. And since let's talk about this peaking at the right time, let's go into the first game. You go and play Salt Lake Community College, so a team I don't think you actually played them this year, but you have played them in the past.
Yes.
You go and win at 67-55. And I thought you actually had when I first watched the game, I thought you had a higher shooting percentage, but I went back, it was about average. I mean,
yes.
Maybe slightly higher, but I mean, let's talk about it, the good, the bad, and what can be improved.
Well, I thought it was a huge win.
Yeah.
Salt Lake had a little stretch in the regular season where they took 4 or 5 losses in a row. I don't know if they were dealing with injuries, but when we started diving into them on the scouting perspective and on film and stuff, they were very talented. They were 10 or 11 deep, athletic. They had a lot of size on us,
yes.
So going into it, their shooting percentages were higher than ours and stuff. So there was a high level of concern, with that matchup in the beginning. And Region 18 has always been very competitive at the national level. So we didn't feel like we got an easy draw by any stretch of the imagination, but we thought it was a winnable game. And I think the formula of playing good defense and rebounding and taking care of the basketball, which kind of became our DNA in the last month and a half or so, carried us through on that one.
Because I went and looked back. Guess who out-rebounded on the offensive boards? Casper College did.
It's fantastic. And we weren't the taller team, that's for sure.
That is true. I mean, I was also impressed with just Ottoman going up against, I think it was 31 and 42. I mean, they were just bigger than us. And
For sure.
But how they handled it, even Luna was getting in there. I mean, there was one point I think she fouled. She's like, yep, I know. That was me. I did it.
I don't know how many rebounds Luna had in that first quarter, but it was amazing because Rodriguez, number 42, he alluded to, is very big, and so was Stefano, number 31. They were 6'1", 6'2", and not only did Adama defend well, but so did Arancha and Paula and Shenge in there, because that was the area that I thought they had really targeted us, and we kind of focused on the importance of defending in there, and our kids did a great job in there.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch them, man. You could tell they were putting as much effort into it. It's like, I get it, you're bigger than me, but I got to really get there, and they did, and it was awesome to watch. I loved it. So great job on everyone on the rebound. And, man, I tell you what, we need to get you guys shirts for this end of the year that says we get boards.
I like that.
Because, man, I was sure yelling that at the game. It's like, we love rebounds.
Oh,
yeah!
That's awesome. That is awesome.
We can shout out for any Tiber fans. I want to make some we love rebounds.
I love that.
So maybe next year we'll talk to Coach Macy.
Yes.
Get some shirts made up.
I got a feeling Coach Macy's got some ideas.
I love it. So there was actually a specific part of the game that I want to talk about, and hopefully you remember it. I think it was an inbound play underneath the basket, and I think Luna or Adama might have gotten in. She got a layup in.
Yep.
Great setup, and I just happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye. But you turned to Coach and you gave him some knuckles.
Yep.
Kind of explain what that was.
Well, it was a play that, to be honest, the first time I saw it, we were at Miles. We call it opposite stack, and we set everybody opposite of the ball, and then they go towards the ball, but we back screen the top person, which was Andy, and then slip the screener. So there's your technical aspect to it. But the reason it came back is Northwest College ran it this year, and so in scouting purposes we worked on defending it and stuff like that, and then I said, I just think the way they're over pursuing and going to over pursue Andy, this is going to be open there. And a lot of times plays don't work how you think they will. That was one that you could kind of determine how they were defending and what they were going to do, and for that particular set, it worked to a T.
Absolutely, yeah. It was just cool to see out of the corner of the eye, just the little pound, just like they drew that up. They were ready for that one.
It's fun when things work.
Yes. So, and speaking of work, it worked. The game worked out well. You played well, got the rebounds. You got the W. Then advanced to the second round. Played Wabash, the number 2 seed.
Number 2 seed, yes.
Whew, let's talk about that game, man. What a back and forth game. You win the first quarter, lose the second quarter, win the third quarter, and then just couldn't follow through on the fourth quarter. But let's talk. Great
team. Very athletic. They were averaging 96 points coming into the tournament. And, I really felt defensively we could knock that down by 15 or 20, just because, I thought if we were in the gaps and making them shoot threes, which they were very capable of, but they were so much better when they could get to the rim and break us down defensively. And I thought our team was playing very well in that area. So I thought we could really probably reduce them down to 70, high 70s, somewhere in there. And my question really is, can we score in the 70s? Because they're athletic and they can rebound. So I really felt like we could reduce that point total, but I didn't know if we were going to be able to score against them and shoot. It kind of flipped. They scored 88 points, which was only 8 points below their average, but we did score 80 points. They just shot the three so well.
Yeah.
And, there's the very next time they played, they didn't, and they were the same exact looks that they were getting, or actually sometimes I thought our defender had their hand in the face even better, but that's basketball. It's percentages. Some days it goes in, some days it don't, and they just shot it really well. I think they were 46% from the three-point line on the day, and that's hard to overcome.
Yeah, because I even had talked to someone else saying, usually this girl shoots like 10, 13%, and then she went and shot like 60%.
Absolutely.
It was, and it's just like, why is it always against our team that these teams have to, we're going to shoot the ball really well today?
It does feel that way, especially when I feel like we're a good defensive team. It's not like we're just standing around on defense and just giving them open looks and stuff like that. So it does feel that way, but I'm sure, every coach in America can say the same thing when teams light it up. It feels like it's only you.
Want to know the thing that we did beat them on?
I'm going to guess offensive rebounds.
Offensive rebounds.
Unbelievable. I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, I was very impressed. Just yes, so our shooting percentage just was higher. We still missed some shots, so I think their defensive rebounds was kind of up there. But other than that, I don't really feel like they tried to rebound as often. But we were always there. There was always a T-Bird ready to get a rebound.
And what I love about that is effort. Rebounding, in my opinion, and defense is effort. And our team excelled in that all the way through the end of the season there. And so what that tells me is I was getting maximum effort from our team, because those are the things that you can control if you have good effort. And I didn't need to look at stats to know that. That group is amazing.
Absolutely. So let's talk really quick about Andy, because, she had a fantastic game. I think, 32, 35?
34 points. Yep.
It's 34 points. You could even hear the other coaches getting like, why are we leaving the shooter open? She just kept scoring. It was, it was fantastic, because even I think last year in the tournament, I think she probably had a great game where she had 20 plus.
Absolutely.
And so just to see her to one last game to really go off was kind of fun.
Yeah, just jumping maybe too far ahead, but after the championship game, Andy made the national tournament team, all-tournament team. And as she was going out to get her award, Northwest Florida's head coach, Bart, said, you had 2 great years at Casper College. Told her that as she was going by, and then makes the comment and says, I really didn't want to play you. So, that signifies just how great of a player Andy was when actually I think that Northwest Florida's won 2 out of the last 3 national championships, and to get those words from the head coach there, who's going to be the coach of the year for NJCAA, obviously, and so that just validates everything we all knew. Tremendous player, and I can't say more about how she plays the game. You would never know, looking at her personality, looking at her emotion on the court, that she is an amazing player. She set the all-time scoring record for Casper College here in her 2 years. Never know it. You would never know it. Just tremendous player to coach. Very proud of her.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch.
Yes.
I'd still like watching Hassana Amadou. She's just a lot of energy.
She's come a long ways.
she has. I did notice she got more playing time.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Hassana's always had the tools, and now we're kind of a system program where you got to be, if somebody's in play A, you got to be in your spot, and those kind of things. And that took her a little time to pick that up. Right. Once she picked that up, great asset. There was no doubt that her talents were going to get her on the court. It was just a matter of time, and she was key down the stretch for us the last 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought up about being a system program, because when I went and volunteered and did some PA, I watched those games. It's like, man, they didn't really run any plays, it felt like, and it's just, especially actually the championship game, Shelton State just it didn't feel like they were urgent at all. They weren't really running anything. They were kind of standing around, and it's like, well, that's not even close to what Casper does. Like, there is a purpose and a reason for every movement that is on the field. Absolutely, and we stress movement. I think a lot of times, especially when you get at this level, at the national tournament, we're not going to be the more athletic team on the floor. And if we stand around and we go station to station, it's going to be easy to guard us, and that's where their athleticism is going to be the advantage. But if we have them on a constant move, then we can neutralize some of that. And our team just always did that very, very well. And, it's funny you bring that up, too, because I kind of thought in that championship game it was going to be a lot faster pace, but then, and actually it was my wife that brought it up, they could be tired. They've been in Casper 10 days. They played a grueling schedule, and those kind of things. And so, after that, after you kind of put that into context, you can kind of understand. But I was with you. I thought, okay, this is going to be a track meet. I was really looking forward to this, but it wasn't. It wasn't quite that, but it was still a very good basketball game.
Great basketball game, and there was a point where Shelton State was within 2 or 3.
Fun.
And I was like, oh yeah, they're going to go, and then Northwest Florida just nope.
Yeah.
And so
very talented team, both of them. Very talented.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to both those programs. Yep. I'm positive they're listening to this show right now, so congratulations.
Congratulations, Northwest Florida State, and of course Shelton State, especially being an 8 seed coming in and making it all the way to the championship.
Very good team.
That was fun, especially listening to the coach. I think it's Morrison, I want to say her name is.
Madonna Thompson, I believe. Yes.
Something with a son in it.
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah, you got it.
She was great. You could tell she really cares about her players.
Yes.
Also, Bart Walker, and really making sure, hey, do your job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was really cool to sit there and watch and see, with like the 3 different games, I guess even the 4 or 5 that I watched, the different coaching styles,
Yeah.
and kind of how that feeds into the culture, the playing style of the players.
Absolutely, and that's again the beauty of it. There's no one way to do it, and there's a lot of different ways. You have to find your niche, and you have to find out what your players respond to and what they don't respond to, and above all, you have to be a good teacher in those situations and stuff. So it is kind of fun watching the variety of ways to try to get the best out of your team.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm happy because it was a great season.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad because T-Bird fans, if you didn't already know this, Coach Dwight Canary is retiring. So that was your last game against
Yes.
Wabash. I mean, yes, it was a loss, but still a great way to end it.
Tremendous.
You can't be upset about how the way they played or really how it turned out. You gave best effort.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to tell the fans?
Couldn't have scripted the ending any better. Obviously, we would have liked to advance to the Elite Eight, on and on and on. You'd like to do that, but in reality, we couldn't have scripted the ending. It was a good way for me to wrap up my career, but more importantly, it was a great way for our team to wrap up their season. They just came so far and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a few things I'd like to say. First of all, 17 years, tremendous support from the Casper College itself to start out with, and then from the community at Casper. I couldn't have been happier with how things went, in my 17 years here. So really appreciate a lot of fond memories, a lot of great individuals that I got the opportunity to know, meet, and coach. I just, at some point I'll go down my list of all the former players, and I'm going to guess every one of those, or 95% of them, are very successful in what they're doing right now. Just great opportunity to be here.
Well, we're going to miss you, but
Yep.
we're definitely glad for those 17 years, and you've definitely left a mark on everyone and the college itself.
I just want to conclude with this. Future of Lady T-Bird basketball is in great hands. Coach Macy's been here 8 years. He knows the culture. He knows the community and stuff like that. A very, very, very good coach. So T-Bird fans, get ready to pack the gym, because there's going to be a good product on the floor starting next year.
Absolutely. I would totally agree with that. Yeah. So thank you, Coach. And guess what, T-Bird fans? There's probably there's definitely less than 365 days until basketball season. So hold your horses, But
it gets here quick.
It definitely does. It goes fast. Got to wait for the off season, but it will go fast. But until then, we'll see you next time.